If you have a chance to be able to listen to the system and it's in your budget, I think you should definitely take a listen to the system and compare it to all the other alternatives out there and see kind of where the same amount of money goes. You know, I think it's shocking to see how well engineered these are.
Right. And if you were comparing this to something else, I would urge you to compare it with the price of electronics included.
Yeah.
To see where you end up, because you might say, well, it's very expensive for the speakers. You need a lot less to do the same amount. So,
yeah.
So try and merge both of those bills together, because you might end up in the same place.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Today I've got two new friends here in my home theater, George and Edgar. They both came over to hear my JTR setup as well as view Kaleidescape. Edgar is looking to build a dedicated theater room in his home. He's been listening to some different speaker manufacturers, but he didn't know where he could hear a JTR system. He's heard me talk a lot about it here on the channel and how much I love it, but they were in Orlando on vacation and said, hey, Michael, is there any way that we could come over and check out your JTR system? We're considering purchasing JTR from you. We just never heard it. So I said, absolutely, come on over. We've spent probably the past 30, 35 minutes, maybe 40 minutes going through some different demos here in the theater room, from concerts to action movies to Atmos, scenes that really feature and highlight Atmos, Dolby Atmos. And so I'm super excited for them to be able to share their experience of my JTR setup.
So I only know JTR because of my friend George. He sent me some incredible YouTube videos. Yours was one of them. And everybody said it was, their end game setup, I think was the exact term that people were using. Okay. And we really wanted to hear it. And we found out it's very hard to hear them unless you know somebody. And so we reached out and you were nice enough to let us come by and see it. And it was a blast. It was amazing.
Wow. So for me, it was Midway. Midway has like that percussive bass note that just continues and continues. And I've heard it before. I have some subwoofers and I hear when they hit, but this was hitting the whole time. And then when they were supposed to hit, it just hit more. Yeah. And so that was really incredible just to like feel it constantly. Okay.
I think mine was A Quiet Place, actually, with the contrast of like the really quiet and then it turned on. It was like I was sucked in. I wanted to watch the whole movie, so it did its job for sure. So my space is actually really similar to this space. I don't know the dimensions off the top of my head, but it's about the size of this space, maybe, 6 to 8 feet deeper.
It's like 13 by 25.
And the biggest difference is on my roof, it has kind of like a barn roof. So the two walls are angled and the top is flat, which is one of the reasons why we're really interested in JTR, because of, kind of you have this opportunity to put them in all those little ridges. Right. And then I remember George sent me the video because of this incredible setup you have where the screen pivots up, and that actually solves a huge design problem that I had. And one thing led to another, and here we are. But it's about this room longer, same 2-set riser system, and then that roof issue, and then a little bit of oddities in the back. Yeah. So pulling a lot of ideas from being here for sure.
Okay.
So I am not an expert and know all the brands, and so the first thing I want to see is if there's something I could manage, right? Okay. Because I didn't want to constantly be on the phone and want to watch a movie and lose half an hour trying to troubleshoot something with two little kids running around. Okay. So when I came here and we were able to turn everything on, and with an Alexa prompt and a couple clicks on your cell phone it turned on, I was like, thank God, right? Because I've seen some huge remotes and all this other stuff, and it's kind of it's scary. And then the second thing was, is the sound quality and everything as good as people say? And I think once you hear it in person, I think they'll be blown away by the bass. I think the subwoofers are clear, incredible, consistent. You can feel them, but it doesn't hurt your ears. I don't know how else to describe that. Okay. Not, like I said, not an expert. And so that was a really big thing because, when you go to see a movie, I guess it's different from music. You want to have a movie theater experience. So when a gunshot goes off, you want to feel a gunshot, right? And so that was pretty great. And then seeing your setup of all of the electronics behind it and seeing that, it's manageable. Doesn't have to be, you know, you don't need an engineering class to kind of enjoy a good theater. So.
I have my own tiny theater in the house that I really enjoy. I have a 7.2.4 setup. It's Klipsch, it's RP 600s and RS 500s. I have 2 little kids, so I can't even crank that up ever. I literally got everything at the exact wrong time. But yeah, this JTR setup is just otherworldly. I started listening and then I forgot and I just started watching a movie. I think that's probably the best description I can give of it. I didn't care about my phone. I didn't want to look at my watch. I just wanted to look at what I was looking at and enjoy.
Immersive.
It's super immersive. And the distance to the screen is
brilliant.
Is brilliant. This is the best.
Yeah. So we're 9 feet from 150, and I always ask people, is that too close? Is it too immersive? Because a lot of people that are building a home theater, they want to know that. They want to know, how big can I go? Is this going to be too big? And I had those same questions. Yeah. So I always love hearing somebody else's perspective, because this may be perfect for me, but it may also feel like front row to somebody else. And so share that experience. 9 foot from 150 inch.
I mean, I at home had an 85-inch TV. I sit about 7 feet from it. I thought going to a 100-inch TV was going to solve my problem. It went up, and both me and my wife looked at it, and we were like, it could be bigger. So we definitely enjoy being very close. You know, it gets complicated after a while because then you start to lose some like separation in the stereo because you're in like weird positions. Because you're awfully close, but for a projector of this size, it works.
Yeah, and I watched about half an hour of demos? Is that about long? Half an hour of demos, and it was extremely comfortable, not tiring. You know, I would say 9 feet was great.
Okay. You mentioned something earlier. I heard it actually during the demo. One of you made a comment about not being bright. Maybe go down that and share where that was coming from. Do you remember what scene we were watching?
It was probably you.
It was probably me. I think it was Book of Eli. You put the gunshot scene on.
Did I crank it?
You did crank it.
It was good.
It kicked like a mule, but for some reason it didn't hurt. It just felt like a gun. It felt very natural. If you've ever heard a gunshot go off, it's kind of what a gunshot sounds like. So that was pretty incredible. You know, it had everything about a gunshot. No ring, which was really great.
Yeah. No, that Book of Eli scene was amazing.
It was incredible.
It was amazing.
I like doing that because it shows the dynamics. So we go from really quiet to instantly really loud.
Yeah.
And if you're pushing it really loud on a lot of speakers, they're just going to give out. They're going to distort. It's going to sound nasty. But, you know, you heard what it sounded like. And, people know what I think. I just always like getting other people that have never experienced JTR to kind of share that experience as well. Your size room is going to be a little bit bigger than mine, which is good. You're going to have some advantages that I don't. What are some things that you would like to take away from this experience that you want to make sure that you implement in your theater room?
For sure. I'm going to do this wall cavity, for sure. The lifted screen. It's about this size screen, which is perfect. Definitely, after talking to you, Michael, really excited about the 2 racks we're going to put in the side cavity. So they're easy to maintain and easy to manage. All the cable management stuff we talked about is a huge takeaway for me. I was always wondering, I was telling George, like, hey, is a 7.2, like, is the 0.2 part enough, or should we get, you know, I have a chance to do whatever we want, and after being in this room, I'm like, nope, it's perfect. It's definitely enough. So huge takeaway that the 7.2.4 is definitely for me. And then a lot of the projector work, because I do have a chance to put in a hush box myself. And so I'm really excited to kind of mimic kind of what you did, just in my own little style. So I basically took everything away from this room. So I think I'm gonna, if you ever come to my home theater, you're gonna see it's gonna look eerily similar.
It's gonna be a rubber stamp.
It's gonna be eerily similar.
That's awesome. So you're looking to build maybe in 2 months?
2-3 months, yeah.
Be ready to kind of start putting it together?
Absolutely.
So what speakers are you looking to put in your theater room?
So I mean, if I can take what you have inside of this screen, I'm definitely gonna take those. So I'm not good with the numbers, but then basically those with the horns sounded
212
fantastic.
HTRs.
Yes.
So we had talked about possibly if you're going to do a like a platform that I did, you probably want to go with the monitor size. But if you're not going to do a platform, then you could do the RTs, which would be the towers.
Exactly. We're going to go measure that, bust open the wall, see what we have in there.
Okay.
And so we'll put 3 of those in there. And then same for the subs. The 2 you have there are incredible.
Okay.
Depending on whether I can go to the floor or not, or have to do a platform, we'll see whether I go for those incredibly deep ones you were talking about. That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, so those are the 4,000 ULFs. That's a ported version.
Right.
Give you more output. They're just a bigger box. I don't have the space in my room.
I'm hoping that it's basically going into the attic.
Okay.
So I'm hoping I have plenty of space, which would let me do something really fun there. And then because I have the barn nooks,
okay,
the angled JTRs are actually perfect because they might actually be able to fit right where I need them to go and actually flush into the wall, which would be awesome.
Okay.
And then we're going to take a look with you and your team to see if we're going to have to go with the angled or the flats, depending on what's in stock.
Okay.
And I think either way it's going to be perfect just because of how my room lays out, and I have actually enough walking space on both sides. So I think it'll be great.
I just thought it was really incredible on like, you don't have a lot of electronics in here. You kind of have like a good amount, but you didn't go crazy spending money on electronics. And
there's a lot of power.
You know, this isn't our first demo. You know, we've gotten a couple of other demos at other places, and usually the electronic bill is significantly higher without the output. So this is pretty incredible.
Okay.
So
cool. I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah.
Any thoughts or questions from you?
No, just the only thought is if you have a chance to be able to listen to the system and it's in your budget, I think you should definitely take a listen to the system and compare it to all the other alternatives out there and see kind of where the same amount of money goes. You know, I think it's shocking to see how well engineered these are.
Right. And if you were comparing this to something else, I would urge you to compare it with the price of electronics included to see where you end up, because you might say, well, it's very expensive for the speakers. You need a lot less to do the same amount. So so try and merge both of those bills together, because you might end up in the same place.
Especially for somebody like me who doesn't want to do custom work or integrate 30 things together. Or, you know, that's a big consideration.
Sure, kind of keep it simple.
So keep it simple, keep it great. When you turn it on, it works.
So video-wise, what are you looking at? What are you considering?
I have a projector already.
You have a VPL 6000 ES from Sony.
That one.
We have it.
Yeah.
So I figure why not install it?
100%.
If we love it, great. And then if not, well, he gets to buy something else. So.
I think you have the great opportunity to spend.
That's right.
And then I get to do it after.
That's right. I could do this for half.
He's my testing ground.
That's right. That's right.
Make sure you make the right decisions on yours. George can implement that.
That's right.
We definitely live close enough to where the fruits of that labor end up being also
everything has a price.
That's right. And our kids will hang out. So you know.
So I can see once you get your theater built out, I'd love to maybe even come up there and film
You're always welcome.
Talk about your setup, the decisions you made, the things that you've learned through that build, and hear your JTR setup.
Yeah.
So was that your first time seeing Kaleidescape too?
This was not my first time. They put these in the demos before, which was actually perfect because I could hear Kaleidescape versus Kaleidescape, which was perfect. Because I think if I would have heard like Apple 4K versus Kaleidescape, it would have been Kaleidescape all day.
For sure.
But it's actually, well, the first time I saw Kaleidescape I was a little overwhelmed, and now after seeing it 2 times, I'm like, you know what? This is actually a very, very easy to use system.
I can't wait for Edgar to get his theater room set up with his new JTR system. He'll be ordering that over the next couple of weeks, and maybe we'll be able to make a video, travel up there to South Carolina to check out his system and document his journey. Well, guys, if you need anything JTR or Kaleidescape, feel free to hit us up at the website, obsessedhometheater.com. We're authorized dealers for both brands. We'd love to support you in your home theater journey. Hope you guys have an incredible week. God bless, and I'll catch you in the next video.